So in 8.9, we're going to talk about dividing a polynomial by a binomial. Remember a binomial? Does anybody remember what the word binomial means? Two terms. Very good. A polynomial could be up to 4, 5, 6, 7 terms. We're going to limit it to either 2, 3, or 4 terms, and then we're going to divide by something with 2 terms. Step 1, do what we've been doing the last 3 lessons. You're going to factor the numerator. Yep. There will be a numerator today, and you're going to factor it. You're going to use the box method, which is why we've been going over what we've been going over. There are quite a few methods, yeah, actually, of grouping. There's grouping, there's box, there's guess and check. There's something even called bottoms up, which sounds kind of silly. But yeah, there are lots of different ways. Okay, step 2, you are going to cancel out the same factors, or the common factors, if you want to use the word common instead there. The remaining items are your answers. So factor the numerator, cancel anything that matches. What is remaining is your answer. It's honestly only one more step, and if I could dare say, it's like a super easy step to what you've already been doing. Okay, now I am just going to show you what this will look like with an example. I'm not going to go through the whole, you guys know we take about 4 or 5 steps for our box. So right here, just indicate that we would do the box. Okay, you would do the box. We'll practice that a lot today. You would end up getting, you would get x minus 1 and x plus 8 if you did that. If you went through the whole process of doing the box, you would get x minus 1 and x plus 8. So then what we do is we compare that to the denominator, that is x minus 1. You cancel what matches, and your answer is x plus 8. That's all there is to it. No, in fact, dare I say, it might even be even easier, because 9 times out of 10, you see that bottom one. I don't think we give you one where it doesn't match. Like if you don't get an x minus 1 when you do the box, there's probably something you did wrong. So I'm almost like telling you half of what your factoring is. Okay, so that's really it. So today's like one more day to practice your box. Number 1 and number 2, the box is not difficult. Number 3 and number 4, challenge. Once we get to 3, 4, 5, and 6 are a little bit more of a challenge. Let's just go to doesn't matter. Let's just do number 1. We can probably skip number 2. Let's go to number 1. Okay, so just for the moment, pretend you don't see that x minus 7. And do your steps here. So step 1 is GCF. What is the GCF? 1. Okay, so if you want to take a 1 out, you'll just end up with the same thing. Remember, I indicated to you that if the GCF is 1, it's not like super necessary for you to rewrite it unless you want to. I know some of you probably even like use the snipping tool and just put it down there. Okay. Step 2. Good. What is A? Now, is that because this outside number is 1 or because the number side x squared is 1? Good. It's not the GCF in the front. It's the number side x squared. What's B? Negative 10. And what is C? Okay. Let's make our chart. AC over here, B over here. AC on the left, B on the right. What is A times C? And what is B? Remember, we've indicated that some of you are just like really good at this kind of stuff and some of you are just not. Okay, and that's fine. You have to go for where you are. So if you need to, do 21 divided by 1, 21 divided by 2, 21 divided by 3, 21 divided by 4, until you get something that works. I'll pause the video until somebody finds it. It is good. So it's 3 times 7 makes 21. That's your, now granted, that actually makes positive 10. How do we change it to be a negative 10? Good. To get a negative 10, we need a negative and a negative. So you switch your magic numbers to get the number you want. All right, now we go to the box. Like I said, number 1 isn't a super difficult box problem. As we progress through, we're going to see some more GCFs we need to pay attention to. What goes in the top left of the box? And what goes in the bottom right? What goes catty corner? And now if you find your GCF here and here and here and here. What is the GCF of x squared minus 3x? Just a 1 and x. Good. What is the GCF between negative 7x and 21? Good. Excellent job. What is the GCF between x squared and negative 7x? Positive. You always take from the left. And what is the GCF between negative 3x and 21? Good. Good job on your sign. So what we need to do about this probably, usually we'd be done here, but we just need to cancel what matches. Now you guys can probably already see x minus 7 is going to cancel with x minus 7. You probably already see that. However, it wouldn't be really a good teaching moment if I didn't show you why. So it's really x minus 3 and x minus 7 from our box over x minus 7 original. So we did the box on the top and we kept the bottom the same. And you can see what matches. X minus 7 cancels with x minus 7. So our final answer is x minus 3. Okay. Remember on like the quiz and things, we'll have like a little box for you to put your final answer. So just put your final answer of x minus 3 in the box. Yes. Like, no. It will always ask you to cancel. Yep. The directions on, so like if this was on the keystones, which it, or yeah, the keystones, which it will be, the only directions this will say, it will say the word simplify. That's it. It will just say the word simplify. And that's all you have to, like, you have to know, okay, that means I need a factor and I need to cancel. Now I am going to skip number 2. You would do the box and you would end up canceling the m minus 9. Let's practice number 3. What is this right here? What is the name of that? It is a, starts with a B, binomial. Does anybody remember it's actually called a quadratic binomial because of the 2? Just good to review those words. All right, so just kind of pretend for right now you don't see the bottom. I know obviously you do, but pretend you don't. What's the GCF? Good. When there's a GCF of 1, you don't really have to rewrite it, but if you like to, there's nothing wrong with that. Then step 2 is identify A and B and C. What is A? What is B? And what is C? So step 1, 2. Step 3 is to make your little chart to find your magic numbers. Some of you might just have the numbers right away. Some of you might not. What is A and C? And that's with multiplication. And what is B? Now, remember, if B is 0, I gave you the hint that you can just take the square root of 25. But don't take the square root of negative 25. Remember, I told you a lot of times kids in their quiz, they call me over and they're like, you told me I could take the square root, but my calculator's not giving me an answer. I'm like, well, you put, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to say you're doing something wrong. Can't put the square root in there. What's the square root of 25? Good. And when you divide by 5, you get, and that makes, okay. So those are your magic numbers. Again, if you're like, I don't like that square root trick, Mrs. Langeli, I just want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go for it. I don't care. It's fine, as long as you get it right. All right, what goes in the top left box? What goes in the bottom right box? Catty corner boxes. And what do those get? Good. So you'll do GCF here, 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 and here. If any of Miss Burley's students are listening, I do believe Miss Burley I put my answers down, down, right, and right. I think she might put her answers up, up, left, and left. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing no matter what. All right. GCF in the first column. Yep. GCF in the second column. Good job. GCF in the top row. GCF in the bottom row. You could probably tell me that what's going to end up canceling. Yes. It's good. It would be a bad moment as a teacher if I didn't show you why. But 1y plus 5 is the top and 1y minus 5 is the top. You factored the top. You like just changed it to be in factored form. There's the bottom. 1y plus 5 is the same as y plus 5. So your final answer is 1y minus 5 or just y minus 5. Yes. No, if you get, no, that's a good question. The question was, do you have to show the cancellation step? I'm okay as long as you have like all the other work like that. If you do this and this, I'll understand what you're doing. All right. Now, number 4 is going to trip people up more than anything. I honestly think number 4 will be once we do it, you'll be like, oh, that was easy. But I think initially it might trip people up. Step 1 is what? I will be very pleased if you guys get the correct GCF. Kind of. It's a 2 and an X. You can see this has a 2 and 16 divides by 2. They each have an X. There is not a third term. That's okay. Doesn't have to be a third term. Now, when we did GCFs for our entire day. You guys were very good at them, but we really haven't just visited GCFs in a while. Go ahead and take a 2x out of my first highlighted item. No, you almost want to pretend that doesn't exist right now. What do you get if you divide 2x out of there? So you get 2 divided by 2, x squared, take away an x, you get x plus 8. So everything divides by 2, which turns this into a 1 and this into an 8. And everything loses an x. So that's how you get 1x plus 8. If you have, let me do it as a different visual for you. If you are able to see that the GCF is 2x, you can divide that by 2x and divide that by 2x. That's how you get a 1. And then you do 2 minus 1 is x to the first. That's how you get an 8. And then those cancel. Yes. No, the answer is not 0. What I want you to understand right now is that you can't, there is no A, B, and C anymore. The answer would just be 2x. That is correct. So this cannot be a box. Sometimes we get so stuck in a pattern, we forget when you can and can't have a box. No x squared. If you don't have an x squared, you can't do the whole box process. So all I need to do is write an equal sign, write it as my factored 2x times x plus 8, divide it by my x plus 8. And like you said, the final answer is just 2x. So it's very important for you guys to kind of make a mental note to yourself that if you don't have an x squared, you're not going to be able to do the box. Yes. That is correct. You can do it when it's an x cubed as long as there are 4 terms. And we ran into that last night. It would have to have 2 terms only. And once you take the GCF out, the x squared would have to go away. So when you do the homework, you need to be very careful to look for things that are only 2 terms. Now, number 3, hold on. Look at number 3. This, you need to make this connection. Why could I do the box on that? There's a squared. That's right. Couldn't do it on here though because the squared goes away. Now let's look at number 6. Pretend this doesn't exist for a moment and focus on that. What's the GCF? Just a 5. Not an x, right? Just a 5. Okay, divide by 5, divide by 5. Let me know what you get. When you divide 10x by 5, what do you get? 2x minus 3. Yeah, you get in your head, you almost did a little bit of subtraction instead, but that's good. You got it. Can I do the box? Nope. Very good. Your final answer is 5. That is correct. So it would not be a good teaching moment if I didn't show you it rewritten. There's what we factored. There's what the bottom was. And there is why the final answer is 5. Now on the keystones, I'm going to take a look and see where we end up on this one. On the keystones, there's a chance you might have to box the top and box the bottom. And when I say there's a chance you might have to, you're going to. I mean, I know what's on the keys. I know the concepts on the keystones, and that's going to be box on the top and box on the bottom. I don't think we do that with you on here. All right. So testing your factoring skills is going to take me to number 8. Mm-hmm. So on number 8, what's the first step? Mm-hmm. And what is the GCF? Good. You can rewrite it, not necessary, as long as you know it's the same thing. That's step 1. Now step 2 is ABC if we can. Do you guys, does that look like it's going to be a box problem? Why? Good. Very good, because of the squared. Now, I'll just make sure I say this out loud so you don't. A is not 1. A is good. B is, and C is. So that does mean we need to do this. This is just like some people are good, some people are not. It is what it is. You gotta find your rhythm there. What is AC up here? Negative 18. 3 times negative 6. What is B? Now you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until you get one that works. Yes. Okay, so the answer is 2 and negative 9. 2 times negative 9 is negative 18, adds to negative 7. Good. I don't need to adjust my signs. Those are your magic numbers. Time for the box. And what goes in the top left of the box? Good. What goes in the bottom right of the box? Caddy corner. And they get, yep. So GCF, 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 GCF. Okay. I'm actually going to do this on the board. Do yours by yourself. Check it with mine. Do yours by yourself and check it with mine. Number 10, the request was made to rewrite it. So I just put x plus y on the bottom and scribble it over that with white. That's the same thing. GCF? Nope. Not each one has an X and not each one has a Y. Yeah, it's just a 1. They don't both have an X. They don't both have a Y. They don't both have a 2. It's just a 1. So sometimes when we don't see numbers, it almost does make it more confusing. So the top, I rewrote it. I just rewrote it. I put this on the bottom instead of beside it. That's all. I just rewrote it. So then what I did is I took a white crayon and just colored over it so it wasn't there anymore. Yes. There is an A, B, and C. Do you want to take a guess as to what it is? Do you want to take a guess as to what B is? And C is close to being -1. Oh, it's close to being, but yeah, it's a -1. All right, step 3. A, C, and B. What's AC? And what's B? Good. Would you grab the door for me? Thanks, hon. It's a 1 with a -1. That's the only way you're going to get to the magic numbers. Go to your box. Very interested to hear what your box is here. What goes in the top left? And what goes in the bottom right? -y². This is probably where my biggest concern is what goes catty corner. Okay, and what do they get? Yes, and a y. If there's an x² in the first term and a y² in the last term, they each get an x and a y. All right. GCF of that part. Sorry, I won't use orange and green together again. That does not look nice. GCF in the first column, please. G and good. And in the top row, good. You can probably already see which one of those two is going to disappear. Which one is going to cancel? I can rewrite it if that's helpful. We just got 1x plus 1y, and we got 1x. Good. So 1x minus 1y. Won't the keystones will not have what? Good. It is odd when it's written sideways like that, so I would encourage you guys to rewrite it so you can visualize it a little better. Okay. Factoring wise, I think you'll be okay at number 12. I think you'll be okay at number 9. 17 is a little iffy, but I think eventually you'll get it. Number 11, I do believe there will be some points of struggle with the factoring. So I'm going to put the m minus 5 down here. I'm going to cross it off because nobody likes seeing it there. Was it a minus or a plus? Thank you. Okay. Tell me what the first step is. And what is the GCF? Partially. 4m. Doesn't look like that makes a big difference, but it will. Divide this term by 4m. Good. Divide this term by 4 and m. Can I do step 2? Why not? Good. So this is not a box problem. God bless you. You are ready to rewrite it as what we got over what the bottom was. Keep wanting to make that a plus. Your final answer is just a 4m. Yeah. Wait, say it again. No, you can just do it there. If you want to just be like this and like this, you're more than welcome. And then just make sure you like actually have your final answer as a statement somewhere. "13 is the next factoring that concerns me. It is. Yes, very good. Why? You told me that 13 was a special case. Why? It has 4 terms. Very good. Yes. What's that? It has a cubed instead of a square in the front. That is correct. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and label. First of all, I'm going to do this. Okay. I like that visually. It's much better for me to see it written like that. All right. So no matter if you guys know, like step 1 is an absolute. What is step 1? Because if you miss a GCF, your whole problem could be bad. What's a GCF on this case? Okay, so it literally does nothing. Okay, now step 2. Can I find A, B, and C? Nope, because this is 4 terms. Good. I don't need to do step 3. I just go straight to the box. Good job. Yep. Yep. As long as the 6y ends up here, and as long as the x cubed ends up there, the other two don't matter. Always make sure this goes top left. Always make sure that goes bottom right. All right. It's time to practice some more GCFs. What's the GCF going down in my first column? Good. Nope, just 1x, and the reason is because this only has a first power, so that's the most that you can bring down. Oh, okay. Oh, you're switch on the category. That's fine. That makes sense. What about this? What about this line? What's the GCF here? A 1, a negative, and a 1 and a y. Good. Together we got it all. Good. Okay, now we're going to go this way. It is a 1. There's this, the first one doesn't have a y, so not a y. It is actually x squared. You always take, yeah, you got to take, it's like me saying this. Each one has at least, and hopefully the answer would be x squared when you answered that. And what about this way? It's a negative, and what'd you say? Nope, something bigger goes into a 6. Good. Now, if you recall, these ones need checked. If you choose to do the box, these ones will need checked. It's not that hard of a check. And I will go through it. Now, whether you take the time to do the check on the quiz, if you just want to chance it that they all work, that's kind of your choice. What does this make right there? I'm doing a quick check on the box. Does that make x3? That arc, it does. What about that arc? Does it make negative 1 x squared y? Good. Does this make negative 6x? And does this make positive 6y? Okay. Again, it is totally your choice if you're going to check that or not on the quiz. You can just assume that we're being nice. But your choice. So final answer is 1x squared minus 6. Or just x squared minus 6. See what it looks like. That is another 4-term one. I think you'd be fine on the 4-term one. Number 12, you should be good as long as you're careful with your numbers. Number 7 is the only one that I think that there's going to be some struggles with. We'll do 7 and we'll call it a day on the notes. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Step 1. And it is. Okay. Not necessary to rewrite it. I'm just doing it to stay thorough. Yes. Yes, you may. Step. Okay, cover. Can I do ABC? Yes, because there's a. Good. What is A? What is B? And what is C? When you see a 0 here, what's ringing through your head? What's my trick? Good. A, C, and B. What is A, C? You had to be careful with your signs there. That was correct. What is B? What are you not going to, if you do the square root of negative 16, is that good or bad? That's right. You don't include the negative. What is the square root of 16? What would the other number be? 4 and? Good. And that does, in fact, give you the 0 you need. 8 wouldn't work because nothing times 8 like you could do 8 and negative 2. Oh, that you're at in your head. Remember, if you do 8 and negative 8, this number would have to be 64 up here. In your head, you were adding instead of multiplying. I'm glad you said that though, because that is something I see a lot. And top left box, bottom right box, catty corner. At this point, I think you're probably pretty set. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think once you get here, as long as you guys don't say 2x here, what's the GCF? It's not 2. What's that? Yeah. And good. And the other way? This one's going to be a plus. One of them's a plus, one of them's a minus. And which one of those would end up canceling? Good. You can cancel it here, knowing that it will happen, and have a final answer of 4x minus 1. Or if you want to be more thorough, rewrite it. Again, on the keystones, I think it is much more likely that you'll have to do the box on the top and the box on the bottom, but you do it the same way and just cancel what matches. Okay. I think compared to the keystone, these problems are fairly mild. All right, so when you submit your notes, it's not necessary for me to see 2, 5, 9, 12, and 14 complete. If you want to see those ones complete, let me know. I can do a separate recording for them. This is especially for any students who are listening from home. This is 8.9, yep. For those of you who may be learning at home, or those of you who might have a couple of homework problems to do, and you're just watching the video, I want to make sure that we indicate that we are very aware that there are certain apps, especially PhotoMath, but another one that can be used is Mathway to get you final answers. So when you get no credit for not showing your work, it's because it's as simple as typing a problem in and spitting an answer out, which is why it's very important that you follow the box method. I do not have PhotoMath installed on my iPad. So like I know what photomath does to factor, and I also know that you've never been taught that. So if you use photomath or Mathway or Google or whatever it might be, that's fine. Just use it to check your answers. If you start showing work that doesn't represent anything that you have been taught, that raises a lot of red flags.